Hello and welcome to the show. Now, when we are talking about eras of cars, the 90s may well be one of the most popular because, well, there was a huge amount of exciting machinery out there. We're not just talking about the ultra high-end stuff, things like the Lamborghini Diablo, McLaren F1, Nissan had, was it the R390, had the crazy Porsche GT1 road cars. There was some truly incredible stuff out there at the top end, but also, I say perhaps even more spectacularly, as your more average everyday sports car, the more affordable vehicles and the more practical vehicles, there were so many to choose from. In fact, there are so many that we're having to do this twice. I've done a 90s showdown of sports cars before, with kind of higher end sports cars before, because we can't fit all of the cars in one go. There's only 12 slots in a Horizon 4 lobby, so for this one we're going to be looking at this slightly lower end of the spectrum here for the 90s cars. But these are kind of your much more practical everyday vehicles that were made to be fast. Things like this Alfa Romeo 155. At its heart, it is a four-door saloon car. I mean, it's quite a bit different from perhaps a normal bog standard 155. It has just under 200 horsepower, it's all-wheel drive. Pretty sure this was the one with the sneaky aero parts that were hidden on the road car, but were there that could be flicked down so that it could run the aero parts in touring car racing. All of that sort of shenanigans would go on. You have things like the Peugeot 205. Now, I'd love 205 GTI. It is one of my favourite hot hatches of all time. Sadly, we do not have that option. We have the 205 Rally, which is a little bit less powerful. It actually has less than 100 horsepower. It is small. It is very, very agile. It's very, very light car, this. So on the twisty stuff, I mean, the GTIs were lauded for their incredible handling. The Rally is a similar story. Very small, very light. It was going to be fighting against some quite big guns. I mean, we have things like the GMC Cyclone. It's a pickup truck at the end of the day. Okay, not really a common sight that much in Europe, but a very useful vehicle, a sensible vehicle at its base. Four-door saloon car, two-door hatchback, pickup truck. The Cyclone would embarrass Ferraris when it came to acceleration. It was quite the monster, and I love it for its complete craziness here. But yeah, again, at its heart, it was a kind of sensible, practical vehicle. I mean, we also have things like the Lancia Delta. Again, four-door hatchback. This one, the most successful rally car of all time. This one, again, fairly small, fairly light, all-wheel drive, great fun to drive. And we were going to be taking these lots up against each other, and not just these. We'd throw in some, let's say some sports cars from the era, things like the Silvia. We do have a Mark III Supra, but the one in the Forza is a bit crappy. It's got I don't know why they put a 2-litre rubbish engine version in, but that's what we've got. And there's some other oddballs along the way. Naturally, we're going to test them against each other. So, here we are for our first race with these 90s cars, and we are at the Ambleside Village Circuit because, well, this is a very nasty, tight, technical, twisty route, and these sort of cars should be very good at this. Admittedly, Bentley is a bit of an oddball, might not enjoy this circuit all that much, but yeah, we're going to kind of launch them and see how it goes. The 155, I mean, I have all-wheel drive traction, but I'm going to be on the bit heavier end of the spectrum. The Lancia, I'm expecting to be very, very quick. I don't expect that to be a very, very fast car, but we'll see how this goes. I've not really driven the 155 much. I like the car, but yeah, I haven't really driven it all that much. The Mustang is slow off the line compared to the all-wheel drive machines that are around it. The Cyclone is going to probably be the fastest car in a straight line here, but it has got to contend with some very small, very light machinery like a Williams Clio and 205 and all that sort of good stuff. We are going to have a go to the inside up here. We will pass the Lancia, but I don't think we're going to hold it on the exit, particularly with very, very wide through there. Oh, a little bit of paint swapping between the two Italian machines. The French car's lead, we've wandered out very wide through there with a fair bit of assistance. Cyclone is to the inside, and we are not going to be able to hold that one. I mean, let's not forget the Cyclone, as far as acceleration goes, for its day was phenomenal. It was ridiculously fast, was the Cyclone. But around a small English town, probably not the vehicle. Ambleside is at the bottom part of the map, isn't it? So this would be English rather than Scottish. But either way, around a small British town, that is not the vehicle you'll want. We are stuck behind a CRX but will not have the power of the Alfa Romeo. The 205 Rally is gone. The 205 Rally has vanished into the into the ether, really. It's maybe not a massive surprise there, let's be honest with you. This is the sort of track ideal for that car. It is the least powerful here. I think it has 99 horsepower. But it is so light and such a good handling car that it can just completely and utterly bugger off into the distance. So there we go. It's now come back to, can my Alpha catch the Lancia? Will one of them break down? Possibly. But the 155 actually doing better than I thought it was going to. This is the sort of track that I thought if my car was going to come undone at, this would be the place. Being that bit bigger. There we go. My brain just derped out completely trying to figure out what on earth that sentence was supposed to be. Are me and Liam catching Impega? We might be. I don't know if we're going to catch quick enough though to hunt down that 205. I'm definitely caught up to Liam, but I mean, catching is one thing around this circuit. Even if we catch the Peugeot, I mean, how would we pass it? We'd have to. I mean, the best bet would be actually outrun it down and start finish straight, really. Oh, both of us get a load of understeer through there. That is going to let that 205 get even further away. Yeah, I know we're not going to catch that car in time. I don't think we're going to, are we? We'll just chase after Liam through these next couple of corners. Can we find our way past the Lancia? Try and be neat and tidy through all of these sections. Oh, didn't get the change of direction right there. This bit here is where we will definitely catch the 205. Just our sheer power in these will work a bit, but it's just not enough, especially if we're going to start fighting each other. Oh, come on. There we go. Literally on the limit of what I can do with this Alpha. And it is... We've got to the back of the Lancia. I just can't figure out how we're going to make a pass stick. We are well clear of 4th place. It's Blakey with the Supra that is the highest PI vehicle here. I'm in all sorts of trouble down there. That's some terrible driving by me. The Supra, of course, rear-wheel drive doesn't quite have the same launch as we did, so has been stuck in the traffic, really. And you know, there's a lot of traffic around here. It is difficult to overtake, and if you get stuck in the pack, you are in trouble, really, for a large portion of the race. Smoke is billowing off both of our cars as we are desperately trying to get them to turn. Oh dear, one more lap around. Yeah, I had a slightly iffy lap that time. It's just put me a little too far back, I think. We're going to need some mistakes from Liam if we're going to catch. It's a pretty good turn 1 for me, but it's not going to be enough, I don't think. Again, barring mistakes, can we make any time up through here? And Pega's smoking the tyres as well. We're all trying to extract the absolute maximum out of our cars. It is a little bit wide through there. The Lancia, I think, does maybe handle a smidge better, but it's not as sort of great amount better than the 155 as I was expecting it to be. His Alpha is very good. I'm pleased to say I do like the 155. Oh, there's an opportunity here. There's an opportunity for the Alfa Romeo. If we don't put Liam in a wall, the Lancia is not going to want to yield around there. But I think it's going to have to in the end. Yeah, Liam just left the door a tiny smidge bit open, and then both understeering machines through the next corner. We snuck it. We snuck it at the end there. The Bentley was actually faster than me around that. How does that work? How has Ollie managed that? How has the Bentley turboed at a 57C? Nothing's catching the Peugeot. It might have the second lowest PI here, but nothing is catching it around there. We're not too far off, but yeah, we just don't have the grip that the little 205 does. Definitely most impressive result / lap time has to go to that Bentley, because that should not have been a circuit Turbo R. We move next to a somewhat bigger track. This is the Broadway Village circuit. I mean, it's still a bit smaller because these are only C-Class cars. They're not crazy fast. But yeah, well, the Broadway Village circuit. Now this... I mean, if the Bentley was as quick as it was at Ambleside, it could legit be very fast here. Yes, it's got to get through traffic. The Cyclone might be one to watch out for as well. I mean, well, that struggled on the very tight, twisty streets. This might be better suited to it. I'd expect the Alfa Romeo and the Lancia to be quick again. The Peugeot will probably struggle more around here. Yes, it's going to be quick in the turns, but there are much longer straights for its, I say, relative speaking lack of power. to cause it issues. And things like the Mustang and the Impala, not quite sure how they're going to fare around this one. That's actually a really good launch for the Alpha here. We're going to pass the Mustang. Here comes the Cyclone, definitely the quickest launching of all of us. The CRX is going to have trouble before turn 1. The Silvia wants to come across in front. That's okay. We will just fall into line through here. We've got a good run, but not really anywhere to go with it. We're just going to kind of try and sit and follow the Silvia through the pack. So the Williams Clio is, I mean, kind of like the 205, I guess, in as far as it's that sort of same small lightweight hatchback, only with considerably more power. It's faster off the line. We are going to go side by side with the Nissan. It's a long way around the outside there that's not quite going to fit. We will just fall into line for now, but I mean, where are we going to find our way past? Can we make that one work? Well, we had to go, we're taking an adventurous route to try and make this one work. It's still going to be stuck on the outside here. Still going to go side by side with Gliska. Now, who has the better top speed? The Cyclone is the answer to this question. But who has the better top speed? That's really even. Really even between the pair of us. The Delta's to the front of the pack. Where is the Cyclone going to go? We're going to try... No, too late. Too late on the brakes. The Silvia ran wide anyway. So it was going to run wide, but yeah, I basically waited for the Silvia to do the brakes and I wanted to brake later than it, but that was too late for me. Oh, gonna get squeezed with the Mustang. Here comes the Bentley now to join in the fun. Not going to be catching the Lancia around here, I don't think. Admittedly, we have been in the battles a bit, but yeah, even if we're in clean air, I think we're going to have the pace. Oh, got stuck behind the Mustang. No. It is the infuriating. I have quite a good car, but we're in the midst of the traffic now. Can I do anything really with it? I mean, the problem is we're just not quick enough down the straights here, and these are the cars that are probably faster than me down these straights, and the Alpha is a quite understeery boat. The all-wheel drive traction is good and everything, but not really good enough, although this time we get turn 1 spot on, and we're going to get 2 cars in one go. Thank you. That puts us back up into a 6th place. Can we go chasing down this big pack of vehicles next? I don't know. We're going to give it a try, though. We are going to give it the best shot we can. Oh, God, I see the Bentley lining up behind, although the Bentley's not going to be able to outbrake me here. And this is the call. The Bentley can be all over the back of us, but we will... Oh, if I get my braking point right, we should outbrake it. And then we should have the traction, but I messed up my own braking point. God damn it. Okay, we'll try again. Getting that one right is very, very busy up ahead. That might play into my hands a smidge. I mean, they're fighting that much. They're going to really be slowing each other down. Plays into Liam's hands massively as well for that Lancia. Going to run away clear at the front. I feel like I've let the Alpha down a smidge here. There's just a couple of little mistakes that I could have avoided that would have been... Yeah, would have been really helpful. That's now a smidge too late under braking. The Renault is getting bopped around. It's in the midst of all of that. The Peugeot's about to come under threat from a lot of very powerful cars. We get a really good run to the outside of the Cyclone because they've been all busy fighting one another. The Bentley's getting involved there, but this time around, oh, there was half a gap left for me to sneak to the inside. We'll try and pass the Bentley, and this time we do make it work. We're stuck behind the Clio a little bit here, but everyone's all sort of stacked up behind the Mustangs coming to join in the fun. The hot hatches, I mean, the hot hatches are about to get mugged down the straight, I fear. The Cyclone is going to give us a little bit of a nudge. Unfortunately, that's going to completely screw me over again. For God's sake, every time... This race has just been, how can we screw the Alfa Romeo over? Peugeot's just got no top end to fight with this. It's so quick in the corners, but it's about to get mugged all the way back down to 8th here. Yeah, we have got... We might have even the 2nd or 3rd fastest car here, but we just can't get out of... the troublesome zone, really. We have passed the Clio Williams. Can I get past these two before the end of the lap? The Cyclone is so difficult to drive. The Bentley... Oh, no, there was a tiny gap that I had to fire my car in, and the Bentley just shut the door. when I was already kind of committed. Here we have to go for it. There's no other option on that one. We got lent on into the final corner last time, so I think it's only fair we repay the favour a smidge on the Cyclone. We get up to third. Now, this is going to come a drag race to the line. Can I carry enough corner speed to be far enough away from that Cyclone? We know how monstrously fast it is down the straight. The answer to that one there is no, I cannot. The Cyclone will get us. Good cutback on the exit. We will have to settle for fourth. For a while I thought we were going to be stuck down in sort of 8th or something. Jeez, the speed of that Lancia was impressive. It really was. The Supra was quick, but I think it just got stuck in traffic. The Supra set slightly faster lap time than me, and that is the second fastest lap time here. It just could not work its way through the traffic quick enough. So there we go. I mean, yeah, that was a manic midfield. The Alpha was pretty good. It was pretty good, I have to say. We move next to the drag strip. We know who's going to win this. The Cyclone. If anything beats the Cyclone, it would be astounding. This is more going to be the battle for second, perhaps, between me and the Lancia. I think the Lancia might possibly beat me. The Bentley, I'm maybe a little concerned about. If the Bentley can get going, this, in theory, should be the one round the Bentley's good at. Not that it's really listened to physics or anything so far, but this should be the one round if it does get a good start. We are, of course, going to get, let's see, a couple of stabs are getting going, almost bogged down. We are off the line. There goes the Cyclone into the distance. The Lancia is going to pull away from us a little bit. We're in a solid third place. The Clio Williams is falling away. The Mustang might start to catch. You're going to run out of time, though, to do anything about the Alfa Romeo. And it's the third place for the 155. It's no surprise at the front. We knew the Cyclone was going to win this round, or pretty strong suspicions. So there we go. The Lancia, that would take second ahead of my Alfa. The Mustang gets to fourth. The Williams Clio actually does well. Runs into fifth ahead of the Silvia. The Impala is there in seventh ahead of the Supra. Then we have the Golf in ninth. The Bentley, surprisingly, the one event we thought it might be half decent at is in 10th. Must have bogged down or did something horrible. Then we have the 205, not a surprise, ahead of the CRX. 205 CRX do not have the power for this sort of thing. Now, normally we would run a 0 to 100 to 0 in these kind of things. However, these vehicles are not really capable of getting to 100 by the end of the drag strip. So there's going to be 0 to 60 to 0. We have the Alfa Romeo go first to set the benchmark. The Cyclone was always likely to be good. It gets to 60 very quickly. The brakes are not as good. It does have a stronger brakes. It's much heavier than a lot of the vehicles in the field. Not the heaviest, that's the Bentley, but a lot heavier, than a fair few vehicles. The Mustang, that would go next, and it did a pretty good job in the drag race, and sure enough, it's close to the 155. I have to say, the kind of Fox body Mustang shape has grown on me more. The more I see it, the more I kind of like them. The Delta, I mean, it's got the all-wheel drive traction. It's much lighter than just about than a lot of cars around here, and sure enough, the Delta would run into the lead of this one. Clio Williams, more power than the 205. Again, small, light hatchback for this run. Maybe not quite as good a launch, of course, as the all-wheel drive cars. It's not a bad showing from the Renault. It's right up there with that Mustang. And the 205, that would go next. Being so light, yes, the acceleration to 60 is not so bad. The top speed isn't great, but it is a good run. It's actually very, very close between the 205 and the 155 in this. Very, very close indeed. The CRX has struggled a little bit in this. It's not got the crazy grip that you get from the 205. And not got the power of the rest, pretty much. And sure enough, I mean, it's not a million miles away, but it is a fair bit. It's a bit further down the road than the rest. The Silvia, so it's one of the more traditional sports cars, if you like, in this mix. Sets off. It's on the brakes. It's not too bad. Just can't quite get it stopped to beat the likes of the Mustang. Not a terrible run, certainly. I mean, it's a big cluster of cars together. The wonky engine Supra would go next. This one is the highest PI in the field, but it's not really been showing that all too much, and sure enough, it's not a great... Right, again, it's all very close, but the Supra would get stopped a little further down the road than the Silvia. The Golf, another front-wheel drive hatchback in this one, again, struggling a smidge throughout this, gets on the brakes, and does manage to beat the Supra. This time out. So not a terrible showing from the Volkswagen. It's just about in the long line. The Bentley, that would go. All of its heft is off the line. Now this was expected to struggle a bit for the Bentley because it's very big, but actually gets a really good run. I don't, I don't understand. The Bentley's weird in Horizon 4. It shouldn't do what it does, but it was surprisingly good under brakes for this one. And finally, we have the Impala. Again, big four-door saloon car. Actually, not a bad run from the Chevy here. It does get stopped pretty well. I mean, it's got a decent chunk of power, that car. We're worried about the braking on it, but yeah, not too bad at all. So, Victor, well, that would be the Lancia here. The Delta would take the win ahead of the Cyclone. No massive surprises there. The Cyclone's good off the line, but can't get stopped. The Delta, yeah, has been very strong all around. Big surprise for the Bentley in third. Well, we thought it might be quite good in the drag race. Did not expect it to go so well here because of the braking component. It's very, very close between the 155 and the 205. In the end, it would go to the 155, but by the tiniest of margins between those two vehicles. Actually, I didn't do the best of jobs with the filming camera on it. Very difficult to show with the way this is set up. We then have the Fox body Mustang, the Clio Williams is in there, the Impala as well, beating the Silvia. Then the Golf beats out the Supra, and a little bit further down we have the CRX. But it's a pretty close grouping of cars in this one. So there we have it. There were certainly some surprises along the way in this one. Certainly some fairly big surprises along the way. The group of vehicles all stopped up there. So, we are onto our leaderboard, and it is a fairly convincing win for the Lancia Delta in this one. I mean, I think it was in the podium spots for pretty much every single round. It was very quick. Yes, my Alpha sort of chased it down and overtook it just about at the Ambleside circuit, but that Delta was mighty quick at just about every single test. The Cyclone is up in second owing to its brutal straight line speed, a point ahead of the 155. I was quite proud of the Alpha, actually. It did good. The Peugeot will take a fourth place. That is not bad at all. The Bentley in fifth, just a point behind that 205. The Bentley in Horizon is weird and far too quick. The Silvia is sixth, just a point behind that Bentley ahead of the Clio Williams. The Ford Mustang would get an 8th place ahead of the Supra. As I said, it's such a shame we don't have the sort of big engine Supra, but there we go. The Impala had flashes of being fairly competitive, but its handling let it down a little bit. In 10th ahead of the Golf, and CRX would round out the table. I mean, yeah, as far as conclusions go, the Delta is phenomenally quick in this little group. There were tiny moments where it could get beaten in places, but overall, just about anything you asked it to do, the Delta could and would be one of the fastest vehicles there. The Cyclone is awesomely fast in a straight line, and I love the truck, but will not quite have the handling. As I said, I'm pleased with how my Alpha did, actually. The 155 was very nice to drive. I didn't really know what it was going to be like taking that car for this one, but it did do very well indeed. I mean, the biggest surprise for me here in this one is the 205. Of course it was going to be a good handling. We expected it to do well on the twisty stuff, but it was surprisingly competitive. For being so far down on power with a lot of the vehicles, this sort of power-to-weight ratio makes up for it. Yes, it struggles a little bit on the ultimate drag racing, but yeah, that was a great showing from the Peugeot. The Bentley has to get a mention for being for being far too quick in places it shouldn't be, really. The Bentley in Horizon 4 is a surprisingly good driving car, and it shows in this test that it could be very quick on twisty circuits, which that big barge probably really shouldn't be. It was a spectacular sight, nevertheless, to see that thing going around the circuit. I mean, this was a good fun. This was some good fun racing. These were great cars to go driving with. That is for sure. Yeah, the Delta definitely the fastest of the bunch. Personally, the Cyclone is the one that I would have, followed probably by a 205. But there we go. That is going to be it for this video. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.